All right, everyone. Today, we're going to break down what really happens when a massive snowstorm slams into a city like Toronto. And let me tell you, it's way more than just a few plows on the road. It's this huge coordinated dance involving the city, public transit, and of course, the people themselves. So here's our game plan. First up, we'll look at the official side of things, what it means when the city actually declares a snowstorm emergency. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the city's playbook and the absolute chaos of just trying to get around. After that, we're going to dive into the unofficial survival guide, how Torontonians really deal with it all. And finally, we'll wrap things up by looking at how community and safety are the real MVPs in getting through the deep freeze. Okay, so first things first. To really get a handle on the response, we have to understand the scale of the problem. And it all kicks off with one very important official declaration from the city. Now, this isn't just some fancy term the Weather Channel uses. A major snowstorm condition is a formal declaration. Think of it like this. The city flips a giant switch that activates a bunch of special bylaws. This is what gives them the legal power to do things like ban parking on critical snow routes, all in the name of keeping the city from grinding to a total standstill. So, to put this particular storm into perspective, just take a look at these numbers. We're looking at 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. Now, that's not an all-time record, but that is a lot of snow. And when you combine that with temperatures dropping way below the average low, well, you've got the perfect recipe for a citywide headache. It's really that 1-2 punch of heavy snow and biting cold that triggers such a massive response. All right, so the storm is here, the city's made the official call. Now what? Well, this is where the city's official response machine kicks into high gear. And it's a very carefully planned, top-down operation. The city's plowing strategy is all about triage. I mean, they can't be everywhere at once, right? So they have a clear pecking order. First up, the expressways. These are the city's arteries, and they have to stay open for ambulances and fire trucks. After that, they hit the major roads and bus routes because public transit has to keep moving. It's only after those critical lifelines are clear that the plows finally start making their way into residential streets. Oh, and we've all been there. You spend an hour shoveling your driveway, you're finally done, and then whoosh, the plow comes by and builds a literal wall of snow right at the end. Well, that pile of betrayal has a name. It's called a windrow. And here's a little-known city rule for you. If that windrow is more than 25 centimeters high, city crews are actually supposed to clear an opening for you. Good to know, right? And remember, those major snowstorm condition rules? Yeah, they're not just suggestions, they have teeth. If you park on a designated snow route while that declaration is active, it can hit your wallet, and hard. We're talking a potential fine of up to $500, and that's not even counting the nightmare of having to get your car back from the impound lot. You know, life doesn't just stop for a snowstorm, and that includes things like garbage day. But for this to work, residents have to do their part. The city is really clear on this. Place your bins on your own property, not on the road or buried in a snowbank. And there's a good reason for this. If the bins are in the way, they become dangerous obstacles for the snowplows, slowing down the entire cleanup effort for everyone. So you can see how all this stuff, the plowing priorities, the parking bans, it all funnels down to the one thing that affects almost everyone during a storm, the massive challenge of just trying to get from point A to point B. When a storm is coming, Toronto's transit system, the TTC, goes into full-on battle mode. And it's a really proactive strategy. They don't wait for things to freeze over. You'll see special trains running all night, not carrying people, but spraying an anti-icing solution on the subway's third rail. At the same time, above ground, a fleet of trucks is doing the same thing to that huge network of overhead streetcar wires. It's all about preventing ice buildup from paralyzing the whole system. Okay, I love this because when it comes to winter driving, you've got the official advice, and then you've got reality. The city will tell you, be patient, take transit, but every seasoned driver knows the real rules. Rule number 1, clear all the snow and ice off your car, not just a little peephole. Rule number 2, leave way more distance than you think you need. And rule number 3, know what to do when you hit black ice. It's defensive driving on a whole other level. And hey, safety in a snowstorm isn't just about the cars on the road. If you're walking or biking, you are basically invisible to drivers. So the name of the game is making yourself seen. Wear bright, reflective clothes, and never, ever assume a driver sees you until you've made direct eye contact. And for any brave cyclists out there, remember the golden rule. Cross streetcar tracks as close to a 90-degree angle as you can. Hitting them on a slant is a surefire way to take a nasty spin. So we've covered the official playbook, the safety bulletins, but then there's this whole other layer of how a city gets through a storm. It's the collective wisdom, the unwritten rules, and the shared experience of the people who actually live through this year after year. And it often begins with a moment of pure shock. This is perfectly captured by this comment from a new resident who moved from Vancouver. For them, -5 degrees Celsius was like a life-altering experience, a real revelation. But that shock, as you might expect, is almost always met with this kind of wry, seasoned perspective from a longtime local. Someone who knows that as cold as -5 feels, oh boy, it can get so much colder. And of course, this brings us to the great Canadian debate. What kind of cold is it? Is it a dry cold or a damp cold? You'll hear so many people in Toronto swear that the humidity creates this damp cold that just seeps into your bones, making it feel way more chilling than the thermometer suggests. So all this local wisdom, all these debates, they boil down to a very clear, unofficial survival guide. And the number one golden rule, layers. It is all about the layers. We're not talking about one giant puffy coat. It's a system, a thermal-based layer to wick away sweat, a fleece mid-layer for insulation, and a windproof shell on top. And seriously, don't skimp on your feet and hands. Good wool socks and waterproof boots are absolutely non-negotiable. But when we zoom out from all of this, it's so important to see that the city's storm response isn't just about plows and parking tickets. It's really about a coordinated effort to protect the most vulnerable people in the city. And at the very heart of that safety net is the city's network of warming centers. When the temperatures really plummet, these doors open up all across Toronto, and they offer so much more than just a warm place to sleep. They provide hot meals, a sense of security, and a crucial connection to support services for people experiencing homelessness. It's about making sure nobody gets left behind in the freezing cold. And that's the thing, right? The city can send out all the plows and salt trucks it has, but the system only really works because of the people. The whole thing relies on residents being good neighbors, shoveling the walk for an elderly person next door, or taking 5 extra minutes to clear the snow away from a fire hydrant on your street. It's those small acts that keep the whole community safe and moving. So when you really think about it, a city's ability to weather a storm isn't just measured in how many centimeters of snow it clears. It's measured in all those little acts of kindness. It's the shoveled sidewalk, the cleared fire hydrant, the shared laugh about the damp cold. That's what real strength, what real resilience actually looks like.